So I'm about to begin a series of video recordings to show the EEK controller, which is shown here in the bottom of the screen, already connected to the Tello. And the Tello is shown on the ground in the above image from the camera showing the bedroom here where I'm flying the Tello. And I'm going to run some missions that are pre-canned into the code, and in fact I can identify where that code is. So this is the main routine where if we detect a button push and we're not in flight, then we want to run these various flight plans. So the up button causes the flight plan to run. The down button causes flight plan A to run. The CCW, counterclockwise button, when it's pressed and we're not in the air, then we're going to run a counterclockwise circle flight. And then when we press the CW button and we're not in the air, then we're going to run the clockwise circle flight. And later on, we're actually going to do manual flying. And so the manual flying is controlled up above here in the section where we're in flight. So the buttons have a function that cause the Tello to go up or down, or to yaw clockwise or counterclockwise, and then the gestures that are sensed via the MPU 6050 can cause us to either go forward, backwards, or left and right, depending on what the pitch and roll angles are. And then the functions themselves are actually defined in the drone functions.h file. So for example, here's what the code is for the CW circle flight, the CCW circle flight, flight plan A, and the regular flight plan are all here. So I've already connected the Tello, as I said, and we're connected to the Tello whose SID is Tello-D25FF4. And when we started this out, we had a really good battery strength. But then as I've been setting up for doing the videos, I've left the Tello running, and now the battery is running down. So we're down, I think, below 50% now. So I'm going to let the serial monitor have the auto scroll back on again. I had turned it off. And then as we do some of the flight actions, we'll be able to see some responses here as long as the serial monitor cable is connected, and then as well see reactions happening with the Tello in the air, and then with the communications we're making with the actual EEK. So let me pause here, and I'll begin the flight plans. I'm going to do the first of the flight plans that is attached to the up button. So I can point at the up button right here with my finger, and I haven't actually pressed it yet. The Tello is connected. It's facing away from the camera view, so facing towards the wall. And then when I press the up button, we get the running flight plan image on the OLED display. The propellers are now actually spinning softly on the ground, and maybe you saw it stop. So it went up a little high, and then it actually got back into focus. And then now we go down 50 centimeters, still on the display. Then we're doing a yaw motion, then a clockwise yaw motion, counterclockwise yaw motion, and then an up. And then now we're going to end up with a land command. And it actually went off screen a little bit here, but I think that's okay. I'm going to let that be the result of the video. So I've repositioned the Tello a little bit, and we ran the up button, and when it landed, it got a little bit out of the frame of the camera. But let me just now do the down button, which is a little bit more complicated of a flight plan. So I'm pressing the down button, which is right here, running flight plan A. Again, motor on begins the flight plan. It just spins the motor softly and then turns them off. And then it again rises up and then settles in the field of view of the camera. That's the takeoff execution. So now we go down 50, still within view. And then now we're going to go forward 70 and stop after that. Then we're going to do a left 70 and stop after that. Then we're going to do a back 70 and stop after that. And then we're going to do a right 70 and stop after that. And now we're doing a clockwise yaw and a counterclockwise yaw. And then we're going to land. And again, slightly off camera view, but I think you can see it, landed there on the carpet. So that is the flight plan attached to the down button. So we did 2 of the flight plans for the up and down buttons. Now I'm going to do the 2 flight plans attached to the CCW and CW buttons. Let's start with the counterclockwise one first, which should spin to the left. And it's going to run a little circular flight plan pattern. So CCW flight. So it comes up, it's in the air, takeoff is completing. And after takeoff completes, it then runs this little circular flight plan, which is actually hard to do manually with the controller. And then it lands. So that is simply the counterclockwise flight plan. Now I'm going to do the last button, which is the one attached, or the last flight plan, which is the one attached to the clockwise button, the one on the right of the EEK. So again, the EEK is still connected to the Tello. Tello's on the ground there. And I'm going to press the CW button, which will cause the clockwise flight plan to execute. It went up in the air, takeoff is completed. Now it's coming around and is going to end the flight plan and then land. A little bit off kilter there, but again, enough I think that I'm not going to bother to re-record. So those are the 4 flight plans attached to the 4 principal buttons on the EEK. And those buttons work when we're not actually in the air already and under manual control to fly the Tello in the air. So there'll be a couple more videos coming up where I'm going to be doing some actual manual flight actions with the Tello, with the EEK. And we'll see that happen live in the video field in the flying area up above here in the, in the office here.